G-Man, G-Man.
The fool has said in his heart there is no God. They are corrupt.
Okay, this video is going to be to basically expose the motives of these people that have these positions of authority, these scientists and such that hold to these reductionist, atheistic views of things. And I want you to watch this video from start to finish, because throughout this video you're going to be seeing the true motives of these people. You're going to be seeing them lying right through their teeth, distorting the information and twisting the information to try to give some sort of credence or justification for their non-intended reductionist views of things. We're to start with Eugenie Scott. She's the director of the National Center for Science and Education. She's a physical anthropologist, I believe she is. And she's going to begin a discussion with Stephen C. Meyer on MSNBC.
I made up already.
I do. No, I do.
It's clear, but why don't you let me respond to the 2 points that you made at the top of the hour?
Go ahead.
You said there was no scientific evidence supporting intelligent design. Au contraire. The cell is now known to be chock full of miniature machines, nanotechnology, and digital code that was unknown in Darwin's time.
Yeah.
And there are peer-reviewed articles and books that have made very elegant and sophisticated cases for the idea of intelligent design based on these new discoveries. This is a science-based argument. And in fact, I have a book right here, if you'll permit me a visual.
Yeah, no,
This is from Cambridge University Press, called Debating Design.
Just because it's a book doesn't tell me anything.
Well, there are also articles.
All right. Look, the point about Eugenie Scott, my understanding is that there is not a single peer-reviewed article out there that supports intelligent design. Am I wrong?
You are not wrong. You are correct.
So what is Mr. Meyer saying?
That's incorrect. I have published a peer-reviewed article, and Eugenie Scott's organization, the National Center for Science Education, led the charge to discredit not only the article, but the editor who allowed it to go through peer review. Since that time,
Steve,
8 or 10 additional articles have been published, and there are several peer-reviewed books advocating intelligent design.
Well, I think the peers may be the other people involved in this organization, but
no. This was published at the Smithsonian's top technical biology journal by an editor with two.
Eugenie Scott, let me let her respond. Let me let her respond. Go ahead.
Well, you're asserting false things.
Go ahead, Eugenie Scott.
Steve, your article doesn't mention intelligent design. Your article is an attack on evolution. Now, as far as I'm concerned,
the last part of the article is an article about intelligent design. It's a case for it. It's a positive case for design. Get on our website, viewers.
Eugenie, wait, hang on, Steve, hang on. Let her respond. Let her respond.
Having a lot of fun here, but
Steve Meyer, hang on a second. When you and I are going at it, I'll let you interrupt me, but let her respond.
She can't tell me what is in my own article.
Well, she can be more honest.
Okay, Eugenie Scott, a lady who was the director for the National Center for Science and Education, just lied right through her teeth, live on MSNBC in front of people and right there with the guy in front of her. This is the type of dirty tactics that these atheistic reductionist people are resorting to do. And I want you to think about something for a second. This is the kind of crap that is going on. Evidence will be evaluated under their subjective terms, and this is what's going to be basically handed down for future generations. They will only know what they want them to know. Right here, I want you to watch this video clip of Dr. Craig Venter. He basically gives some reasons, some scientific reasons as to why he rejects common descent. And I want you to watch the distasteful swagger of these scientists that are sitting here along with him.
I'm not so sanguine as some of my colleagues here that there's only one life form on this planet. We have a lot of different types of metabolism, different organisms. I wouldn't call you the same life form as the one we have that lives in pH 12 base that would dissolve your skin if we dropped you in it.
Oh, I've got the same genetic code. We'll have a common ancestor.
Well, you don't have the same genetic code. In fact, the mycoplasmas use a different genetic code and would not work in your cells. So there are a lot of variations on the theme.
But you're not saying it belongs to a different tree of life from me, are you?
Well, I think the tree of life is an artifact of some early scientific studies that aren't really holding up. So the tree, there may be a bush of life.
Right. Yes.
Bush.
I don't like that word.
But that's only in.
All right, I concede that one. Yeah.
So there is not a tree of life, and in fact, from our deep sequencing of organisms in the ocean, out of, now we have about 60 million different unique gene sets. We found 12 that look like a very, very deep branching, perhaps fourth domain of life.
Did you see the guy right next to Dr. Craig Venter, how he was basically trying to lead Dr. Craig Venter into basically saying something else? Well, you're not saying this, you're not saying this, are you? Yeah, he is saying this. And then Lawrence Krauss's attitude towards the end, well, I don't like this, or I don't like that. Yeah, we know you don't like that. We know you don't like the evidence of where it's actually leading. And as a matter of fact, let's take a look at some dishonesty from yourself.
Now, I just threw these things in. He keeps quoting Alex Vilenkin that this theorem works. Alex Vilenkin, wrote me an email after our first debate saying, you know what? It doesn't work when there's quantum gravity. It's not true. It's not even true in the multiverse. So, but he's so convinced that these arguments must be true, he won't listen.
Reference Alex Vilenkin, speaking of the BGV theorem, and claiming basically that Alex Vilenkin was agreeing with him in an email that he had given. But watch what actually happened and look at what Lawrence Krauss actually did.
I noticed that at the end of this paragraph, where the Carol Chan and Aguirre-Grattan models are mentioned, that he specifically shows...
Because it was technical. He talked about the fact that
Lawrence, hang on a second, just let Bill finish.
He specifically shows that these models cannot be past eternal, and that they involve, therefore, a beginning of the universe,
Bill,
just like the others.
You can do the math if you want.
I'd
love you to do it.
Now wait. I couldn't help notice, although it's down from the screen now, that there was a series of ellipsis points following the paragraph.
Yeah, because it was technical, and I thought
well,
it was,
I wonder what you've deleted from the original letter.
See what Lawrence Krauss just did. He knew beforehand that the evidence was not in favor for his position, that Alex Vilenkin was not in favor of his position. He was actually in favor with William Lane Craig. So he took that email that he got from Alex Vilenkin. He was trying to flaunt it off as, well, look at what Alex Vilenkin's agreeing with me, knowing that he wasn't agreeing with them, which is the reason why he removed the end of that email, because he understood that it was actually beneficial to William Lane Craig, which says that Lawrence Krauss does not give a crap as to where the evidence is. He's got some propaganda going on, and some dishonest motives going on, where he's trying to make the evidence fit to where he wants it to fit, and he's going to ignore the evidence when it's pointing away from his position. He will not be honest when the time has come for him to be honest. And this is just what's going on here. He doesn't care about the truth. He's a liar. He's a pathological liar. There's no nice way to say it. Lawrence Krauss, along with all these other people through this video, are pathological liars, and they cannot be trusted. They don't care about the evidence, because the evidence is actually away from their position, is actually pointing towards our own, the theistic or deistic. But, people need to understand something, man. I'm not trying to be disrespectful or anything, but this is just the truth. The fact of the matter is that atheists are the most mistrusted groups in America. People don't trust them, and there's a reason why. It's because people like this, these people that have positions of authority, these pathological liars that are all over the internet, are lying through their teeth on a regular basis, and what they're doing is they're trying to bank on the majority of the people not being able to catch on to what they're saying, so they can just keep pushing off the propaganda in their lies. This is the reason why, actually, if you watch this video, Lawrence Krauss actually gets frustrated with William Lane Craig, because William Lane Craig is not a stupid guy, and so for a defense mechanism, Lawrence Krauss was basically constantly interrupting him. The moderator actually had to tell him, you got to be quiet for a second so that he can actually speak, because we're not going to get anywhere if you don't allow him to speak. But, the fact of the matter is that there was a lot of dishonesty going on in the atheist community at almost every single level. And it reflects back on you atheists if you're seeing these people being disrespectful to the way that they're doing with the evidence and twisting the thing in the evidence the way that they're doing, and you're not calling it out either through the post section. People can read those things and people can see those things. And it becomes very difficult for you when you're trying to dialogue with people like myself when we're constantly seeing these things on a regular basis, dishonesty, it sometimes gets to the point to when you bring evidence to us, we have to question whether or not it's actually what you're trying to make it sound like it is. And it's not meant to be disrespectful or rude, but this is just the truth. I engage with atheists on a regular basis through private conversations. I've engaged with scientists and people from different backgrounds, and I see the exact same behavior going on with them. So it comes down to the atheist community, and it really just comes down to the people who are seeing these things to call it out right there and then.